Anyway, going to go ahead and get into our first game. It's going to be a TVP here on Aperture Station, as I have said a few times before. Starting up here in the top right from Team Unrivaled. It is our Terran player. He is Canadian. It is Mahavishnu.
And up in the top left, his opponent from Lucky13. That's a blue Protoss player. It's going to be fafilulo.
Yeah, I want to say fafilulo because it makes sense to say Lulu instead of like Lulo. I don't know why. It's just my brain defaults to saying that for some reason. But whatever. It's fafilulo. And it's probably, like I said, it's probably something completely different. Maybe he'll watch this and tell me.
I just googled it and all I get is a bunch of profiles named fafilulo. So it could be just one of those names that you make up when you're little and I think it's cool. You're like I want to make a word. And then you successfully do.
Yeah, those things tend to stick with people, like just making random screen names that stick with you for years and years and years. And like you have all these emails from Hotmail from back in the early or mid '90s, when the internet's first starting. It's like, wow, what was I thinking when I made this?
Well, the other thing was in that time too. People were like, don't let anyone know any personal information on the internet because they will find you and you will die. Like, don't put your real name. Like, you'd enter in your real name whenever you're, it's like first and last name whenever you go to enter in your email address, and it's like, wouldn't you, and then last name, like to know, and you're like, oh, I'm so clever.
I'm so very clever here, putting, not my real name.
It's a different time now.
Yeah, different time now for sure. Well, Vishnu, both players opening up pretty relatively standard here. I got actually a gas after the rags here from Mahavishnu. Lucky going for just a Reaper expand so you can actually see what is going on over here in the base of fafilulo, and he's just going for this normal gateway into the gas. I like to see some sort of early expansion out of him, likely unless he throws in a second gas pretty quickly here and starts throwing on some sort of actual tech.
Yeah, he actually did scout his base for proxies as well, so I think it's pretty interesting that he still scouted. That just kind of shows me that he's either uncomfortable in the matchup or he's just a little unnecessarily safe, I would say, because especially early on, that 40 minerals a minute actually can make a little bit of a difference, and you'll notice it too, even at these levels. Just getting the depot a little bit, or getting the pylon a little bit earlier, getting that second gas a little bit earlier. He is skipping the Zealot at least, so he'll still get the Nexus out in a decent amount of time, but it looks like he might want to go Stargate here as he's put 3 on gas already from the get-go.
Yeah, it's be interesting. Both players. Mahavishnu, he hasn't actually used any of his gas yet. He's got enough gas to throw down a factory now, if you want to do that. But he's actually just going to go for a tech lab first on this barracks after getting his first 2 Marines. Takes out the probe that has been scouting, so he's going to be able to do whatever he wants here, actually. And it's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do with this. It looks like it's just going to be a good amount of bio, maybe like some sort of combat shield push, or just like a Marauder concussive shell push, or even just going for a really quick stim. Depending what he's going to do here. Hopefully this tech will start soon. He does have the money to do something.
Off gas. So he's got 1 guy on gas right now.
So
I'm not sure. I mean, like you were saying, it does definitely tend towards aggression because the earlier you get to these tech labs, you want to have an attack timing plan for when the upgrade finishes, usually. Otherwise, you just get a reactor if you plan on playing passively so that you just have more units later when the upgrades would be finished anyway. But he does start stim right away. I'll be curious to see what the add-ons are going to be in these extra 2 barracks. And he is going to go... This seems just... Actually, this just seems kind of too defensive, almost.
Yeah, he's gonna have to stim extremely quickly, and he's gonna be able to get a bunch of Marines. That's about it. Adding on another tech lab and another reactor, actually. It's kind of interesting going for a second tech lab when he's pulled off gas, especially since he's going for this quick stim. I might see like a bunch of Marines coming out trying to go for some sort of early push with just a ton of stim Marines in your face, which is a bit of an annoyance for a Protoss player, having stim. If it's extremely early, and you don't have much to deal with it with just the gateway units. Fafi does have the robo facility on the way, as well as a second and third gateway. The third gateway is just now being put down. He does have this early nexus already finished up. Did he actually make Mothership Core? Yes, he did. So he's going to be able to defend pretty easily against whatever is coming his way. Because again, it's just going to be Marines for the most part. And a bunch of kind of naked Marines with just stim aren't going to be that scary.
Yeah, normally if you're looking for really early, like pre-medevac timing against Protoss, emphasizing Marauders usually is the better thing you can do because they're pretty good at kiting gateway units. They are great against stalkers. Concussive shells is very cheap and a very fast upgrade, and they do the bonus damage to the buildings. Plus, they can tank a lot more photon overcharge shots than Obviously, Marines are a little bit better because they have higher DPS, and when they have the medevacs healing them as well as combat shields, you can eviscerate Protoss armies a little more effectively, but emphasizing them in this early stage is going to be pretty difficult, I think, to really get anything done. He is getting combat shields at least, so he's really committing to these Marines, but to be honest, I don't know if he really plans on attacking with this. I think he just is getting these upgrades really early just to feel safe.
Well, that said, he's moving out on the map with most of his army now. There's a Zealot's going to be able to actually see. I think it just barely missed. All those units came out of the vision range outside the watchtower. Looks like they're taking a pretty awkward pass, so he really wants to surprise Fafi with this push, but again, it's just... yeah, Stim Bio's nice, but when you don't have anything to actually back this up, the Mothership Core with the overcharge, as well as just the gateway units, and eventually, I mean, there's going to be an Immortal out as well, so...
Just 4 units. Like,
yeah.
There's a Sentry, a Stalker, and a Zealot. So he needs his Photon Overcharge to do work. An Immortal just finished, but this next Warping round is going to have to be crucial.
I mean, it still isn't a ton of bio, though. This is a really small force, and a nice force field will at least kind of make Mahavishnu rethink this attack, and there we go. There's a weapon of 3 Stalkers, so he's got enough, I think, just enough firepower to deal with this, and even a couple misrallied Marines there getting taken out. This push is losing more and more of its oomph as this kind of goes on. And he's definitely not, I don't know. He's trying to do what he can. He does have all this early tech out. He does have every single unit upgrade he can out of the barracks already, but again, it's just not really enough to push into this natural base.
Yep. So, I think it was just... It's good that he's trying to be aggressive with this. At the very least, I think he can contain and certainly just prevent fafilulo from moving out of his base until at least the Colossus are out. And it's going to be a little while because he got a little bit supply blocked, unfortunately. So, I would like to see him throw down just a 3rd command center and like some evays and just start cranking out the SCVs, because trying to butt your head up into a Protoss that is defensively minded is very difficult, especially before you have medevacs, before you have 2-2, etc.
Yeah. The reactor is finishing up here from Mahavishnu on his factory, so he's going to be able to switch that over onto the starport, so he can start that double medevac production, which will be really nice. That supply block is really delayed this Colossus. It's going to be out by the time any medevacs are out and across the field for this attack to work, but when that happens, it's only going to be the 1 Colossus. It's going to be a bunch of bio that's got Stim, Combat Shield, Kagasa Shell, and they're going to have +1 as well for their attack. It's just a matter of Mahavishnu is also supply blocked himself right now. It's kind of the same sort of stuff you always see, but here we go. We actually have a bit of an attack here. You just scan and see this. Yeah, he's pushing in. There's no overcharge, actually. He's taking out all the units. It's very nice for his sake. The overcharge does go down now. What is he going to be able to get for his trouble here? Brokers are pulled up the line to try to deal with this. He's just going to win the main. He's just going to win the main now. Yeah. Everything just completely died there for fafilulo, but this overcharge is doing a ton of work, and he's come back down into the overcharge. It's a bit of a mistake there, and now he's losing everything unnecessarily. He basically had free reign up in the main base, but he walked away from it.
Just gotta make the game interesting, man. You know?
Yeah. He also attacked right before +1 is finishing. +1 is finishing up right now. Not exactly what Mahavishnu wanted to be attacking that timing there. It's one of those things where it's really, you see an open, you want to go for it, but if you had waited 5 more seconds, you would have had a nice little upgrade advantage to go along with the rest of your advantage. But he did kill a good amount of gas units there. I killed off one of those entries, a few of the Stalkers, and also getting the Mothership Core. That's a nice little win for him there.
Killed an Immortal as well, so...
Okay, yeah.
Lots of gas loss. I think that's like, what, 500 gas almost?
It's a decent amount, and he got some probe kills as well. Only 5, but it did even up the worker count a little bit. Still a little bit behind is our Terran player, but once again he's going to push across the map right now and try to do what he can, but now there's going to be 2 Colossus out. They're not going to have range for a while, but
well, unless... Viking production's already started. He stopped at 2 medevacs, which is pretty ballsy, but he's going to have these Vikings out nice and early. If he just has 4 or 6 Vikings, that Colossus becomes a complete non-factor, not to mention before they have range, I mean, Marauders have the same range as the Colossus, so not really the biggest deal in the world. But the elevator drop's going to be doing a lot of work here.
He's going to drop right in the main here. All the army is pulling up, and a big warping of Stalkers. Actually, 1 Colossus pops out at pretty much the worst time possible for it. It does get sniped off immediately. Vikings are here to join this, but They're going to have to run away from this. There's actually a good amount of Stalkers. One of those medevacs does get sniped off, which is a bit of a bad thing here for Mahavishnu, but he was able to get a nice kill, and he's going to bring in a few more units into the natural, try to get some pro kills as well with these units, but army is here for fafilulo. He's going to be able to push this away, but still more damage going down on a Colossus. Nicely targeted there by Mahavishnu, getting what little he can done with that small little chunk of army, bringing down a bunch of health on that Colossus.
What do you think of this decision to be building 2 barracks before a 3rd CC?
He's kind of stuck in this awkward location where he needs production because his opponent, if he doesn't, like, if he tries going for a 3rd CC right now, fafilulo just pushes across the map with his army and just destroys him. He does need a 3rd CC pretty quickly though, and he's got the money to do it, so there's no reason really not to, but it's just kind of a matter of waiting for that time where you feel comfortable enough, and you just lost a good chunk of your army. You want to be able to actually defend what comes across against you.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's got a Maroon now, and he knows that there's no 3rd base. I mean, I guess you don't want to get too greedy against a Protoss that's just kind of sitting on 2 base Colossus, because sometimes it feels like they just walk across the map and come kill you. But still, I think that he's gotten damage done, but he's been pretty impatient, I think. Just against Protoss, you always feel like, oh, I've got to go get shit done, right? Because they just turtle until endgame. I'm just gonna lose. But still, being able to have a big surge off of 3 bases after containing the 2 bases is still pretty good, I think. And like, these zealots don't have charge up. Blink is being researched before charge. Colossus range is going. They only have +1 armor. The 3rd base is not even started, so I think Mahavishnu can kind of step back.
Yeah, he's in a pretty good position. His 3rd CC is on the way and is probably going to be actually going to the gold location even. So I think a few Stalkers are out in the middle of the map. Nice there from Mahavishnu. Just keeping that army supply a little bit low. He is a little bit down in the army supply right now, but only 3 Vikings versus 3 Colossus right now. That's going to be a little bit of a difficult fight for Mahavishnu to take. And I think if fafilulo realizes what he has here, he may be able to push up against this, but Mahavishnu getting into the high ground position and nicely done there. Doesn't want to fight in a really awkward position against this army, but I'm not sure if he's going to want to fight into this once he sees all these 3 Colossus here.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of difficult. At the very least, he can't drop into the main base, though, because they're just such can control. But never mind, the Vikings are coming in. The infantry's right away for it. Only going to be cutting off about half the army now. It's getting about a whole part of the army. But Colossi being completely uncontested. Sorry, Vikings being uncontested. Never mind, now the Stalkers try to fight. They only get 1 for their troubles. And he has to hot pick up and leave. Zealot's able to get right in the face there and just do tons and tons of damage.
Yeah, had there been another drop or a drop in the main, that would have been better, but it doesn't even matter because Fafi has these 2 cannons. He's got a few Stalkers on patrol even in his main base, and that engagement was very, very nice for Fafi. Took out most of the army of the Terran player and didn't really lose all that much. Nicely force-fielded off there, and now he's adding the Templar Archives, and Mahavishnu's still going for these Vikings. No Ghost Academy has been put down, I don't believe.
I think the problem is just he doesn't have too many SCDs, like...
Yeah. It's always an issue. He's only got, what, 50, well, he's got 57 now, but it took him until now to get to 57.
Yeah, if we're looking at the spending tab, it's... actually, it's not as uneven as I would think. So, never mind. Everything I was going to say was invalid.
Well, that's pretty normal. A little drop coming from Mahavishnu, but it was spotted by Fafi, so he's going to be able to take that out really easily. Blink's underneath that. A couple of Marauders do get out, so that's nice, I guess. We're going to get a little bit of shield damage done, but yeah, not the best of a trade there for our Terran player. He's trying to find a way into this army, but he just doesn't have the tech he needs right now because this 3rd base just took so long for him to actually get up. And yeah, he's going to take this base at the gold, despite adding on the refineries over here at this 3rd base.
Just double expand, man. Who cares?
Right. You got the money for... Oh, he doesn't have the money for it, actually. I thought he might have, but he doesn't. Getting this gold's going to be nice because he definitely needs some more minerals right now, given how low his SCV count has been for a while. So that'll be a nice little boost to his income, but Protoss player is already on 3 bases as well, and an even worker count, even a little bit of a lead for the Protoss. Never a situation you want to be in as a Terran player, at least this stage of the game.
He's also not gotten any gas in his 3rd, so he's going to be very zealot heavy as this game kind of progresses. So it's going to be really, really, really difficult to deal with that, especially when they have charge. Concussive shells is a whatever thing. The zealots are always going to get at least 1 charge off in 1 hit. And unless you have ghosts, to just take out that zealot meat shield, it's very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and now with Storm is going to be completing as well pretty soon here. He's got a few High Templars, he's got 5. I think they all have at least energy for 1 Storm. They're going to have an energy for 2 Storms pretty soon, and there's nothing but this Bioforce. Yeah, they're going to have 3-3 kind of soon, but look at this, 2 medevacs. 2 medevacs total right now. He's got 6 Vikings, yeah, but you need medevacs to heal, and that's kind of a big deal right now. But Fafi's pushing into this gold base. Oh, these SCVs are not in a good position. Actually sending Colossus up there, and actually tries whiffing us, probably putting out a storm. A little bit late.
You there. Just be aware. Don't go back.
This is a possibility. This is a possibility. Don't let this happen. Run away.
Go warn your amigos.
Yeah. Still no Ghost Academy. This is going to be a big problem for Mahavishnu. He's got the godly splits right now.
Like,
yeah.
Just one more starport, I think, is crucial, especially going against Colossus play, because keeping at least 8 medevacs, I think, is really crucial, especially whenever you start getting a huge bio army. Speaking of the huge bio army, it's going to be engaged right now, but there's a decent concave so far, but the Zealots just, like, fan in, and they're just annihilating everything. The Vikings take out the Colossus. It's 1 Colossus down, 2 Colossus down, right over the Storm. Absolutely no splits at all. Vikings getting down to very low health. They're almost all at 1 HP, but the bio is doing decent. 1 Marine is in a ninja medevac just because. And now the SCVs that weren't mining, quick, get to the bunker. Medevacs go down though, and everyone's repairing the health bunker and the Storm. Barely missed, but gonna be able to get on those SCVs. But now there are a lot of talkers. The production's filling out. We have 5 Marines, 4 Marauders gonna be filling out. So these 2 Marauders doing absolute work.
Yeah, the Marauders are doing what they can with the bunkers down now, and there's pretty much nothing left here for the Terran player. His third base is completely overrun. He's lost a ton of workers at this gold base, and he's going to lose the rest of these as well. Behind this, Fafi has so many gateways. He's going to be able to remax pretty quickly here. Yeah, the trade went pretty okay considering he didn't have any ghosts, but yeah, that was not the greatest of situations there for our Terran player, and he's dropped below 100 supply quite a bit, and actually Fafi has doubled the supply here of Mahavishnu. That warp and power is
real. He's had to lift off
real.
his main CC because he just can't mine anything.
Where are these CCs
The income
going?
tab right now is really difficult to bear with.
Yeah. Fafi's going to turn back home. He's going to turn home and rally up with the rest of his army. He's got a bunch of, what are these? High Templar back here. He's going. What are these? They're on the edge of my screen. I couldn't think. What is this? What is this effect I'm seeing? No, like, I don't know. I'm insane. I saw like wind.
By the way, the stalkers in the main base have been patrolling this whole freaking game. These 5 stalkers.
Hey, if any drops had happened, they would have been killed. So that's great.
You know what, man? This just shows that fafilulo does not hit his F2 button. Props.
That's okay. It's unnecessary. You don't need that. Is it F2? I don't even know what it is anymore. I have it bound to a mouse key actually, or a key that's on my mouse.
I have it bound to something else, but it's F2 normally.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of just a situation of Fafi. He's biding his time to take out the rest of his army. Mahu's going to move across the map with a pretty large bioforce, but he has 0 medevacs. He's got 1 medevac somewhere. Where are you, medevac? You're back home. You're not with the rest of the family of bio. And whatever actually gets warped in. Actually, the rest of his army is showing up here for Fafi, and this is not going to go well. He's going to try to get on top of a Colossus, but nope, not going to happen. Another Storm, very nice Storm, on the back end of that retreat path. Takes out a good amount of the health. Yeah, the bio does have 3-3, which is nice, but now we have 167 supply to 87 here in favor of a Protoss player, and he can just move across the map with his force and take out the rest of Mahavishnu. He's going to take a 1-0 lead in this game eventually, whenever we actually get there. The one thing that's kind of bad about Fafi, he's only on +3 armor and +1 attack. So that's kind of an issue. His upgrades are pretty slow, but that's not a big deal because he has such a tech advantage right now. It's not going to matter too much.
Yeah, absolutely. He just played very patiently. This small battle force is going to do pretty much nothing, I think. SCVs are even in the fighting force as well. There's a single Viking.
Well, there's only 1 Colossus, right? That works? 1 versus 1? Yeah. This is rough. This is going pretty roughly here for Mahavishnu, but he's going to be able to get back into game 2 and start off well. It's not like he lost this game really massive disadvantage or something. He had a really nice attack early on. I think had he not turned around with that initial attack and just kept in the main base, and he's taking out pylons, he could have taken out the Robo even. This would have definitely put Fafi way behind in the beginning stages of this game, but it's just Mahu just refuses to die right now. He's still kept at least a decent chunk of his army alive. There is a pretty right now 114 to 43 army supply in favor of fafilulo. That's not something you're going to be able to break.
Check out his natural. He has 23 SCVs. That is 2 mineral patches and an empty third base.
Aw. Well, hey,
It makes me sad.
he's doing what he can. He's kept 44 workers alive. I mean, how many has he lost? He's lost 36 workers in this game. So that's a bit of an issue. One Zealot rolling over here into the third base, going to take out a few workers, maybe a mule or two. One Marauder is going to be sent to take out this poor Zealot. I'm not sure who's actually going to win this fight.
Zealot.
Yep, Zealot's going to win that. That doesn't matter because the rest of the army is pushing in, and all the SCVs are actually coming out to join this. Storms go down. Those SCVs melt immediately. Up to 64 workers killed now. Storms raining down absolutely everywhere. Grubby would be so proud of them. We go, GG, well played from Mahavishnu. And fafilulo is going to take